thank you for joining. I'm very happy to see you today. I prepared an interesting class for you. We're going to be talking about principles of art. Please raise your hand if you have heard of principles of art before. Okay, Lisa heard of principles of art. Everyone else hasn't? Okay. So principles of art is a very interesting thing, and you can see on the screen the examples of principles of art, and if we count them, we will count how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we will count 7 principles of art. What are they? Maybe you have heard of them for the first time in your life, but maybe you have seen them and heard of them, but you didn't make a connection that this is the name they have. So let's look at the images, and these are going to be the basic examples of all of these principles. It's something. But before we talk about them, each one of them, I want to show you the elements of art. Some of them we already know. So what are the elements of art? Principles of art and elements of art go together. They are very important, and you cannot create one without the other, whether it's finished or not. What means successful? I always tell to my students to remember that success is harmony. Harmony is very close to what you can call beauty or beautiful. So if your artwork has harmony, then it's finished and then it's beautiful. And we will look at harmony as a mathematical formula today. Let's look at the image together, what we can see. Let's take the most probably easy one, in my opinion, is pattern. You see the girl has a scarf. She has a pattern on it, right? This is exactly what pattern is. That is what when you choose a piece of clothing with a pattern, this is what pattern is in your clothing or in the artwork, is when elements repeat each other, right? We will go deeper into them. Something like this. So how did it balance? We have elements here on the background on this side of the image, and we have elements on this side. And the way they're balanced, how much weight of all of these elements are on the page here, and how is the image here applied. Yeah, how the pieces of this part, how many of them, how heavy they are. So balance is also about how heavy or light. Don't worry, we will go deep into all of these examples. So contrast. Here is a very good image. I find it a great example of a contrast, with, in this case, with the hair. So it's the lightest possible hair, probably, yeah, the gray or this type of color, and the darkest, which would be dark brown or black. So contrast is the difference between elements of art in a composition, such that each element is made stronger in relation to the other. So for example, is there much contrast between the hair and the background of my presentation? I would say they're almost the same, right? But if I will put them together here, you will see how how the dark sticks out on the background of the light. So contrast can be achieved by juxtaposing of any of elements of art. Do you know what means juxtapose? No, good. I will tell you, juxtapose is to place elements next to each other. So for example, your windows of cameras are juxtaposed, and me and everyone in our list of cameras is juxtaposed, placed next to each other. No, that's our classwork. Movement. I gave you 2 examples of movement here. What is movement? Movement is the result of using the elements of art such a way that they move the viewer's eye around within the image. A sense of movement can be created by diagonal or curvy lines, either real or implied, by edges, by the illusion of space, repetition, energetic mark making. So, here is a good example of movement because we see how the lines are curving and we know that this is how the water moves, and we show it by all of these movement lines. Imagine, I'm going to give you an example, that you did not have to paint or draw the wave, and this would be my free space to create an artwork. I can use an element of art, which can be the line or shape, and I can create movement. With the line, I will repeat a little bit the wave. Can you say that this is the movement going on? Because I'm repeating or making it look like it's the wave, but with just a simplifying lines. So here you can see how you can create movement using the line. Probably I can add a shape in the center, attract your attention. So this is how my eyes will start moving. They're definitely going to start moving either, I'm going to change the color. They're going to start moving either from the center, somehow like this. This is how my eyes will move. If I'll start from here, they will also move around. So this is how you create movement. Let's look at the pattern, and the image here is a good example of one pattern that is a very famous artwork. Because if you look at it, you will see not only that the background is blue, it's actually a very smart creation of a pattern. So if you can understand, this is the shape of a bird, right? It's a goose flying. Yeah, can you see it there, the white one? And now I will ask you to pay attention to the blue areas. Do you realize that the blue areas are exactly the same goose, just flying the other direction? Yeah, can you see it? Good. Okay, so what is pattern? Pattern is the uniform repetition of any of the elements of art or combination thereof. Here with the car, we did it with the object that is clearly, we know it's moving. We can also erase it and think of other way to show the movement. I will give you an example of elements that will be, I will show you the trajectory. Let's imagine we want movement go inside in a twirl. I will show you just the help lines, how I want movement to look. Yeah, something like this. Did you see, did you follow my eyes? My dots, I wanted you to show it like this. Yeah, if I want my movement to be this way, what can I do? I can use other elements. For example, I can use some sort of waves, and I can apply different elements that will be coming to the center. They're kind of scattered around, but if I would think of the movement, I put them in a way that was going this way. Yeah, this could be also a movement made by abstract. And I think the good part is, let's do pattern and rhythm before we finish, so I can discuss. Girls, don't hesitate to send it to me in the chat. So I think easiest probably to understand would be pattern. Flora sent me a good example. Pattern can be achieved in many different ways, and usually it's of course with the elements of shape, right? So she gave me an example of triangles and circles like this. I'm simplifying, Flora, okay? So this could be a pattern, right? Definitely. How else can we do a pattern? We can, of course, make it more difficult. We can complicate it by making it like this, like so. We can do it in, sorry, my drawing is not perfect. It's very hard to work with dots. And then it's still going to be a pattern. It's not repetitive, but it still has a rhythm and it's still a pattern because there are the same element that I was trying to do is this element. Okay, this was my element. You can complicate it. You don't have to make it only simply with a circle or a square. You can complicate it to so many ways. You can make your pattern like this with this element and you can repeat and repeat it, yes, and this is going to be a pattern with a certain rhythm. So I want you to note that pattern and rhythm are like good friends. You know, they are very connected to each other and one can barely exist without the other. Now let's try the rhythm. About rhythm. So Charlotte sent me an example of trees going down up the road like this. Yes, this is definitely a rhythm. What other examples of rhythm can we have? We can have examples of rhythm like this. So what do we see here? We see some sort of triangular shapes here. Yeah, these triangular shapes are followed by other type of shape. The rhythm is, when I look, let's imagine music. When I look at these elements, why there is a rhythm? I kind of like, by the way, the composition of colors, green and blue like this. So let's think about rhythm, how my eyes look, and I will make it with the sound. The sound is so, pam, pa pam, pam, pa pam, pam, pa pam. So tan, ta tan. Or I could look at it another way and I could be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I don't know if you saw that. I probably need another way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's like when I'm moving, there are unities that are moving me forward, and the unities are shapes that are similar. If I did the different ones, it wouldn't be the same. It's that I jump from triangle to triangle, yeah, from triangle to the elongated line to triangle. This would be the rhythm. Okay. Like a very overviewing class. Of course, we cannot go in one class in too many details. I am encouraging you to do the unity as a homework. Show it to me, send it to me, we will discuss it. Maybe we even do next class a little bit of discussion, because then we will also start learning about color theory. And unity is when everything comes together. That is why it's a little bit bigger space there on the practice sheet. So let's try to make it work. Use the elements and principles of design that we had here. Principles, yes, that we looked today at, and elements. Try to use them together in some sort of an abstract artwork. And this is the best example of an artwork where every element comes as a unity in a kind of a simple but very clear way, okay? So